Pokemon games are some of the most fun games on the planet, known for their wild journeys, exciting battles, and really good storylines? Wait, that's not right. The storylines suck. But why? If Pokemon truly is the most popular game series on the planet, which they are, shouldn't they have figured out how to have a good plotline by now? Well, what if I told you that this was intentional? In fact, what if I told you that Pokemon games were designed to have lackluster stories? I mean, the games are incredible, but I challenge you to tell me one time you walked away from a Pokemon adventure thinking, "Wow, that story was exhilarating! I can't believe that the professor's jerk grandson ended up being the champion! Yeah!" That's not how it happens, is it? As much as I love the idea of a boardroom full of writers desperately brainstorming the riveting dialogue of Team Rocket Grunts and just how they're gonna take your Rattata again, I believe there's something more behind this. It's no coincidence that the franchise's most beautifully written and tear-jerking game is a side series spin-off. It's not as if Pokemon doesn't know how to make a series capable of hitting you in the feels. It's just that they can't. In fact, I'm going to break down why, if Pokemon games actually had exciting and tear-jerking storylines, it would eventually spell out the full collapse of the entire game series. So buckle up as I tell you why Pokemon stories can't be good. Before we jump into why Pokemon stories can't be good, first, I want you to do me a favor. Take a minute to think about your favorite moment from your favorite Pokemon game. What's your fondest Pokemon memory? Maybe it's staying up late battling with your best pal, or maybe it's the story of the first shiny you found before you even knew it was possible. Maybe it's some crazy cool Pokemon showing up out of nowhere, or maybe it's just becoming the champion for the first time ever, or for the 200th time. But tell me, where on that nostalgic bookshelf of memories are the plot twists? The lore? Have these games ever truly given you the chills from, a specific one-liner of a truly brilliant character? Sure, the opening theme of Cynthia has given everyone and their mother the chills at least once, or twice. But that's because you're excited and scared to battle her, not because you can't wait to hear her life story. And that's where this question brings me. The focus is on the battle. The focus is on putting together your favorite team and your struggle to take them all the way to the championship. The focus is on the Pokemon. And the Pokemon are constantly changing. They'll fight, they'll get hurt, they level up, learn new moves, and evolve. All the while, you're constantly choiced with which one of these buccos to bring along on your grand journey. But you never really change. All this time, Pokemon protagonists are notoriously unchanging. You're always some sort of fresh, unassuming, and inexperienced kid who just moved to town. Every single time. Maybe your dad is a gym leader. Maybe your mom has an old friend in town who happens to be the professor. But ultimately, every single game is all the same. And they stay the same for a reason. At the end of your journey, you don't age, you don't grow, you don't actually change. Hell, you never even get a single voice line in any of the entire Pokemon series. The focus is not about you. It's no wonder that the plot lines of every game have been entirely underwhelming throughout the decades. It's because the focus is never about the plot. And it's because the focus can't be about the plot. By now, you must be wondering why I'm so adamantly insisting that Pokemon games cannot focus on their story. After all, it is a bold statement to claim that a slightly more story-driven and emotional Pokemon game would bring about the downfall of the entire series. But it's true. And to come to the conclusion of why, we need to turn our attention to Pokemon's most beautifully written and emotional game series. We need to talk about Pokemon Mystery Dungeon and why it's a failure. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, for those unfamiliar, is a side series game focused on you, someone who mysteriously woke up as a Pokemon, as you crusade through adventures with your newfound Pokemon pals. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is also a masterpiece. Never before has a Pokemon game invoked such deep and gripping feelings of grief and love as the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series. So, what makes the series so compelling? You might have guessed by now. It's because, like in every game, the focus is on the Pokemon. But this time, the Pokemon is you. The reason you actually give a shit and are able to get into the story is because it's written to make you empathize. You fight, you grow, you adventure along in a party of your pals, having the privilege of hearing what complex feelings they're feeling and building friendships along the way. And you can get hurt. You can die. The main series has never truly gripped its players. We're never actually able to get into the heads and hearts of the most important focal point of the franchise, the Pokemon, until now. So why is it that the side series, despite having the most compelling and engaging story, will never even come close to the popularity and renown of the main series? Well, that's because Pokemon Mystery Dungeon failed. And that's all because it broke Pokemon's fragile formula. Pokemon has never been about the storyline. It's never been about the what. The narrative stays the same between every game. You're a fresh kid who discovers the powers of Pokemon and sets out on a grand adventure to catch them all and be the best. But no one's favorite feature of the games is the gripping monologues of the big bad bosses. And that's because Pokemon is never about the what, it's about the how. Whereas other games focus on what it is you do and what takes place as a result of your actions, Pokemon is very purposely focused on how you do what you do. Every Pokemon journey is as unique as the person who plays them, and that's because the game is never about what you do. Everyone on the planet beats all 8 gyms and becomes the champion, but not everyone picked Squirtle over Charmander. Not everyone tried to take their beloved Mudkip all the way to the Elite Four, and that's the beauty of this series. Pokemon is about choice. That's what keeps you pulled in. It's because in every situation, you have the choice to battle how you want, and the outcome is never certain. Pokemon has truly mastered the embrace of taking their players on a full adventure, one that feels as unique to you as your day-to-day life. Now, you may be thinking to yourself that inserting a compelling plotline into the series wouldn't eliminate the choices you make in Pokemon games, but that's where you'd be wrong. You see, Pokemon games are designed the way they are to truly maximize the experience of choosing your own adventure, so that they have the same appeal to new players as they do to veterans of the franchise. Pokemon starts with the same tutorial every single time. There's no emotional development that can or will ever happen from generation to generation. Pokemon is carefully built to teach you the language of the game as fast as possible and to help you dive into the true experience this world has to offer after only a few minutes. This is Pokemon's meticulously crafted formula, and it is one that is incredibly easy to break. Don't believe me? Well, let's take a look at some of the most disliked games of the entire franchise. Pokemon Sun and Moon. Generation 7 is one that takes you on an absolutely beautiful voyage across some of the most diverse and interesting settings we've ever experienced in a Pokemon game. The colors are beautiful and bright, the battles are compelling and interesting, and the regional decks felt like it had some of the best diversity the game had ever seen. So why was it so poorly received? Well, they broke the formula. Off the bat, you know something's wrong when a Pokemon game does anything other than give you your starter and send you on your way. Instead, the game starts off much more akin to how most games start off, with a mysterious cutscene and a more unique plotline. And Pokemon fans hated that. They still hate that. Every minute you're watching a cutscene is another minute you're put on the sidelines in your own Pokemon life. There's no true interest in what's happening. No one's been conditioned to care about the backstory of these games. The true thrills and fun you seek out in the series lies entirely in being able to make your own choices. Pokemon is not about the story, it's about the adventure. The point of the formula isn't just to make an agreeable and easy game experience. It's to focus your experience on what's most important and fun. The Pokemon, your team, your moves, your battles. Everything in this game is designed to highlight the power of your choice as much as possible. So, why can't Pokemon stories be good? It's because it would genuinely detach you from the intended experience. The moment Pokemon tries to divert your focus away from your choices and your freedom, that's the moment the games start to fall apart. So, why was Mystery Dungeon a failure? The primary focus on the story made it so everyone was experiencing nearly the exact same gameplay. And that's stripping away what truly makes a Pokemon adventure successful and special in all of our hearts.